Welcome back to Tears for Fears. I'm your host, Megan Shoup. You can follow me on Twitter at Megs08DFS. And of course, we're talking week 11 tiers today. But before we get into it, be sure to like this episode and subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. Also, check out our sponsors at Run the Sims. They help us make our tiers decisions, and they can help you too. And they've got a lot of great daily fantasy tools. Also, check out my tiers article over on fanspeak.com, where I go through my favorite core plays I'm just sprinkling in or fading. And of course, I plug in my core plays to the tiers simulator over on Fanspeak, and you can use that to get lineup suggestions. So go over to fanspeak.com, check out the week 11 tiers article and tiers simulator, and hopefully that helps you. So now let's go over to DraftKings and let's, go through tier by tier and find our favorite plays. So in tier 1, we have the quarterbacks. We have Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Fields. I think there are questions for a lot of these quarterbacks. Obviously, there was weather issues for the Cleveland Buffalo game, moved to Detroit. We don't know when Buffalo will be able to travel there safely. They did not practice Friday due to snow. So just monitor all that. Josh Allen is off the injury report, but obviously still playing with obviously an injured elbow. Jalen Hurts coming off a loss, lost his main tight end target in Dallas Goedert. His other receivers have been banged up, but are both off the injury report. And then Lamar Jackson is playing in a very high total game, should be getting Mark Andrews back, a very high spread in that they are favored a lot against Carolina. And so I just don't know if he's going to need to hit his ceiling here. So those are my question marks for those quarterbacks. With that said, I will have exposure to all of them. Little Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, and a lot of Josh Allen and Justin Fields. But Justin Fields is my favorite play. He's playing indoors. He's playing out of his mind. He's got actually a much better rushing floor than all these other quarterbacks currently. And so with all that said, and he's got a great matchup against the Falcons. With all that said, Justin Fields is my favorite play for tier 1. Over in tier 2, we have Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, and Saquon Barkley. Over in this tier, I am fading Devontae Adams and Nick Chubb. My core plays are Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, and Justin Jefferson. Love all three of those guys, and we'll have exposure to all of them. But Saquon Barkley, listen, he had an amazing matchup last week against the Texans. He does again against the Lions, and I think they'll go right back to feeding him. He got 35 carries last week. I think they'll go right back to feeding him this week against Detroit. So I love him to get the bonus, 1 or 2 touchdowns, and Saquon Barkley is my favorite play for tier 2. Over in tier 3, we have Joe Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Jonathan Taylor. In this tier, I'm fading Kamara. He's just been a little too inconsistent this season. So my core plays are Taylor, Cook, Lamb, and Mixon. And, I was going back and forth on CeeDee Lamb and Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, Washington showed the recipe to compete with the Eagles is to run effectively, and Jonathan Taylor can do that. But I really love that Dallas, Minnesota game environment, high total game. So give me CeeDee Lamb in tier 3 as my favorite play. Over to tier 4, we have Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dameon Pierce, and T. Higgins. Sorry. And my fades for this tier are Dameon Pierce and Ramondre Stevenson. I do believe Damian Harris is back. So my core plays are A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Josh Jacobs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is my favorite play. All the underlying metrics and target share is there. He just needs to get back in the end zone. So, if he gets the bonus, gets in the end zone, racks up the catches, I really think he has the highest ceiling in this tier, and he is my tier 4 favorite play. Over to tier 5, we have quarterbacks again with Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson. For this tier, I am fading Wilson, Carr, and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones kind of needs to get it more on the ground, and I like Saquon Barkley for that. Derek Carr and Wilson, their offenses are just broken. So Prescott, Cousins, and Burrow are my favorites in this tier, and I really love that Minnesota-Dallas game. So of those two, give me Dak Prescott against the Vikings defense, and he is my tier 5 play. And correlates well with CeeDee Lamb, of course. In tier 6, we have Tony Pollard, Chris Olave, Cordell Patterson, Gabe Davis, Miles Sanders, and Tyler Boyd. In this tier, I am fading Cordell Patterson and Miles Sanders. Just don't see the ceiling compared to the other guys. My core plays are Tony Pollard. Even if Zeke is back, he's just really proven himself, and still like him in this tier will probably be lower owned if Elliott is back. So Pollard, Chris Olave, Gabe Davis, and Tyler Boyd are my core plays. But my favorite play is Chris Olave. I like him in a bounce back spot this week. He's just had an amazing rookie season, tons of air yards, tons of targets, and he is my tier 6 favorite play. Over to tier 7, we have Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman Jr., Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Swift, Cortland Sutton, Kenyon Drake, David Montgomery, and Donta Foreman. Over in this tier, I'm fading Swift, Pittman, and Drake, and probably Cooper too, just either because of upside or splitting carries or worried about the offense efficiency. So my core plays are Terry McLaurin, David Montgomery, Foreman, and Sutton. And my favorite play, maybe it's a homer pick, is Terry McLaurin. Listen, he was getting a 16% target share, I believe, with Wentz, and a 32% target share with Heineke. That is double. I know Washington has a great matchup on the ground against the Texans, but they also have a great matchup in the air against the Texans. So give me Terry McLaurin against that Texans defense in tier 7. Over to tier 8, we have Jamal Williams, Antonio Gibson, Devonta Smith, Devin Singletary, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Darnell Mooney, and Melvin Gordon III. In this tier, I am fading Melvin Gordon, Devin Singletary, Jamal Williams, and that's it for fades. My core plays are DJ Moore, Antonio Gibson, Darnell Mooney, Deontay Johnson, and Devonta Smith. And it really comes down to Deontay Johnson and Devonta Smith. Very close for me. I think Deontay Johnson has maybe a safer floor, but Devonta Smith has a better ceiling. Both now have a more limited target tree, so I like that, and that's why they are both my favorite plays over for tier 8. So what do you think about my lineup? How do you think I did? Please let me know in the comments section. And of course, remember, before you get out of here, to like this episode, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network, and go over to fanspeak.com. Check out my tiers article and tiers simulator. So with that, now let's go make some money, and I will see you next week.